Just picture this for a moment. The entire world is rushing toward electric cars. Every company is talking about batteries, charging infrastructure, and driving range. Big players like Tesla and BYD are all competing to stay ahead in this race. But right in the middle of this shift, Mazda made a move that no one really saw coming. They decided to change the game in their own way. Mazda brought back its old rotary engine, but not in the way people remember it. This time, they've completely reinvented it with modern technology, turning it into something far more advanced, a smart system. This setup combines the benefits of petrol with the power of electric, while other companies are focused on solving charging issues and improving battery life. Mazda has taken a different path, one where you simply drive without constantly worrying about charging. You still get strong performance, good mileage, and a much more relaxed experience overall. That's exactly why there's so much buzz in the auto industry right now. This isn't just about a new piece of technology, it's about a completely different way of thinking. Some even believe it could bridge the gap between traditional petrol cars and fully electric vehicles. But a big question still remains. Could this move become a serious challenge for companies like Tesla and BYD in the future? Could it push the entire EV market in a new direction? In this video, we're going to explore that in detail. What Mazda has actually created, what makes it different, and why many are calling it a potential game changer. So make sure you stay with us until the end, because what you're about to learn might completely change the way you think about cars. And before we move forward, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more such powerful and insightful updates. To truly understand Mazda's new engine, we need to go back a bit and look at the company's history and position in the market. Mazda isn't just another car company, it's a brand that has quietly competed with major players without making too much noise. Mazda's journey began in 1920 in Hiroshima, when it was known as Toyo Cork Kogyo Company Limited. Back then, it wasn't even a car manufacturer. It focused on making machinery and tools. Over time, the company shifted direction, and in 1931, it introduced its first vehicle, the Mazda Go, a small three-wheeled truck. That marked the real beginning of its automotive journey. Then came World War II, a period that devastated many companies across Japan. While several businesses collapsed, Mazda managed to survive, rebuild, and most importantly, adopt a mindset of thinking differently. When most automakers were focusing on simple, practical cars, Mazda took a bold and risky route by investing in rotary engine technology. In the 1960s, with the launch of the Mazda Cosmo Sport 110S, it became clear that Mazda was playing a completely different game. This wasn't just another car. It became a symbol of innovation and defined Mazda's unique identity. Today, Mazda is far from a small company. It operates in over 120 countries and is known for delivering more than just transportation. It offers a driving experience. Their philosophy, "Driving Matters," reflects this idea. Driving should feel enjoyable, not just functional. That's why Mazda cars are known for their design, handling, and strong connection to the road. In terms of market presence, Mazda may not be as large as Tesla or Toyota, but its biggest strength lies in its loyal customer base. People who buy a Mazda often stick with the brand. In 2023, Mazda sold around 1.2 million vehicles globally, which is impressive in its own right. A major contribution came from its SUV lineup, with models like the Mazda CX-5 and Mazda CX-60 playing a key role. What also makes Mazda stand out is its positioning, especially in markets like the United States, where it is seen as offering affordable luxury. The price remains reasonable, but the experience feels premium. Without relying on excessive hype, Mazda has built a strong and unique identity for itself. Now that you understand Mazda's journey, its latest move becomes even more interesting. In recent years, while the entire auto industry has been racing toward electric vehicles, Mazda chose a slightly different approach. Instead of rushing to release EVs, it focused on refining its Sky-Active technology, making engines more fuel-efficient, lighter, and more cost-effective. And that's where things start to get really interesting. In simple terms, Mazda has chosen a middle path. It hasn't completely abandoned petrol, nor has it fully committed to electric. This balance has become its biggest strength and identity. If we look at the global market, Mazda's share may not be huge, but it's steady. By 2024, its market share was around 2%. That might sound small, but what makes it impressive is how the company stays connected with its customers without relying heavily on loud marketing or massive advertising budgets. The main reason behind this is the smooth performance, thoughtful design, and that unique driving feel, which makes every drive slightly different and enjoyable. Mazda's Kodo design philosophy, meaning the soul of movement, still captures attention visually and gives the brand a distinct identity. Mazda's strength isn't just about looks or performance, it also lies in trust and craftsmanship. Even today, many of its cars are built in Japan, where Takumi, highly skilled craftsmen, carefully assemble each vehicle with great attention to detail. The focus here is on quality over quantity. That's why, even with fewer models, every Mazda car feels unique and leaves a lasting impression. Now, this is where things get even more interesting. Mazda is once again shifting its focus back to engine technology, and this is where its new rotary engine enters the spotlight, grabbing global attention. While companies like Tesla and BYD have been pushing battery and charging technology forward, Mazda has been working on something completely different behind the scenes. This brings us to the real question: what makes this new engine so special? Why are people seeing it as a potential challenge to the EV industry? And what exactly has Mazda done that's pulling the entire industry's attention back toward itself? Let's dive deeper and understand this technology. Mazda's new rotary engine is what truly surprised the auto world. Rotary engines have always been a part of Mazda's identity, but this time, things are different. The company has addressed many of the issues that held the technology back in the past. In simple words, they've taken an old concept and upgraded it to fit modern needs. To understand it easily, think of how a regular engine works. Pistons move up and down to generate power. In a rotary engine, it's completely different. Instead of pistons, there's a rotor that spins, and that rotation produces power. Because of this design, the engine is smaller, lighter, and runs very smoothly. However, earlier versions had two major problems: high fuel consumption and overheating. These were its biggest weaknesses. This is exactly where Mazda has made major improvements. First, they've introduced direct injection technology. This means fuel is delivered precisely where it needs to burn. Earlier, fuel distribution wasn't as controlled, leading to some wastage. Now, every drop is used efficiently, which improves both power and mileage. What was once seen as a weakness is now turning into a strength. The second big improvement is heat management. Older rotary engines used to heat up quickly because their cooling systems weren't efficient enough. Mazda has now redesigned the internal system with better cooling channels and improved airflow. As a result, the engine stays cooler, reducing the risk of overheating and increasing its durability and lifespan. The third key upgrade is reduced friction. Mazda has made the internal components smoother and lighter using advanced coatings like DLC, diamond-like carbon. This reduces friction between moving parts, allowing the engine to run more smoothly and quietly. Earlier rotary engines had a distinct and noticeable sound, but now they feel much more refined, almost as quiet as electric cars. And now comes one of the most interesting aspects: its size. This engine is extremely compact, making it easy to combine with a battery and electric motor. This opens up more space inside the car, either for a larger battery or a more spacious cabin. That's why many experts are calling it a mechanical marvel, a small package packed with powerful performance. Now it's clear that Mazda hasn't just revived the rotary engine, it has taken it to a completely new level. And this raises an even bigger question. Can this technology truly compete with electric vehicles, or is it simply a clever backup plan? Things get more interesting from here, because this Mazda engine isn't just mechanical, it's intelligent. In a way, it has its own brain. The company has equipped it with an advanced ECU, engine control unit, that constantly monitors the engine's condition in real time. It automatically adjusts how much air and fuel should mix to deliver the best performance in every situation. Whether you're driving in cold weather, stuck in city traffic, or cruising at high speeds on the highway, the engine adapts itself seamlessly. Now comes the real twist. Mazda has paired this rotary engine with a hybrid system. This means the engine no longer directly powers the wheels. Instead, it generates electricity, which is stored in the battery, and then an electric motor drives the car. This setup offers two major advantages. First, it reduces the load on the engine. Second, it significantly improves fuel efficiency. And this is exactly where companies like Tesla and BYD might start paying attention, because Mazda is tackling the problems of charging and range in a completely different way. But there's more to it. Mazda has also worked extensively on improving the durability of this engine. It now includes advanced sealing technology that minimizes air and fuel leakage. This makes the engine more reliable, longer-lasting, and easier to maintain. In the past, rotary engines were often criticized for their shorter lifespan, but Mazda has addressed that issue to a great extent. Another feature that makes this engine future-ready is its multi-fuel capability. This means that if alternatives like synthetic fuels or hydrogen become more common in the future, this engine will be able to run on them as well. So this isn't just an engine designed for today, it's built with the future in mind. Put simply, this is far from an ordinary engine. Its lightweight design, smart fuel management, improved heat control, reduced friction, and hybrid integration all come together to create something truly advanced. That's why experts around the world are saying that Mazda hasn't just brought back the rotary engine, it has completely reimagined it and given it a new identity. Now, if we talk about what truly sets Mazda apart, it comes down to its unique way of thinking and its focus on performance. At a time when the entire world is moving toward electric vehicles, Mazda has chosen a smarter, more balanced path, a combination of hybrid technology and a rotary engine that delivers the best of both worlds. And this very combination is slowly becoming a challenge for the EV industry. Mazda has taken its traditional rotary engine and integrated it into a modern hybrid system, but not just any hybrid. This is a range extender hybrid system. In this setup, the engine doesn't drive the wheels directly. Instead, it works solely as a generator, producing electricity. That electricity powers the battery and the electric motor drives the car. As a result, the driving experience feels completely electric, quiet, smooth, and seamless, with no jerks. Meanwhile, the engine works quietly in the background, ensuring the car keeps running. This means the car never simply stops due to lack of charge. One of the biggest advantages of this system is that you don't have to constantly worry about charging. There's no stress of finding charging stations or waiting for hours. You just refuel and keep driving while the engine takes care of charging the battery. This effectively eliminates range anxiety, which is one of the biggest concerns for EV users today. While companies like Tesla and BYD are investing heavily in building charging infrastructure, Mazda has taken a different route. It has redefined how the problem itself is solved. Now, when it comes to performance, Mazda has tuned this entire system so precisely that you won't even notice when the engine switches on or off. The acceleration is incredibly smooth. It almost feels like the car is gliding through the air. The moment you press the accelerator, you get instant power without any jerks. That's why the driving experience feels just like an electric vehicle. Mazda claims that this system can nearly double the driving range. Where a typical EV might need charging after 400 to 500 kilometers, this setup can easily cover 800 to 1,000 kilometers without the constant worry of plugging in. Naturally, this raises an important question. If the car delivers an EV-like experience and can generate its own electricity, then why would you need to charge it frequently at all? Mazda hasn't just focused on power and range. It has also paid close attention to silence and comfort. Earlier rotary engines had a distinct and somewhat louder sound, but now, with sound-absorbing materials and advanced vibration control, the cabin feels almost completely silent. It's like sitting inside a premium electric car. No noise, no vibrations. Mazda describes this system as offering the best of both worlds. The smooth, quiet driving of an EV combined with the freedom of a petrol car. There's no stress about charging, no range anxiety, and no compromise on performance. When the battery level drops, the engine automatically switches on. Once the battery is sufficiently charged, it turns off again, all so seamlessly that the driver barely notices. You just keep driving without interruption. Another major strength of this system is its lightweight design. Mazda has made the engine so compact and light that even with the hybrid setup, the car doesn't feel heavy. This improves balance, enhances mileage, and boosts performance. Press the accelerator and the car responds instantly, as if an extra burst of power kicks in from within. Because the engine is compact, internal friction is lower, resulting in smooth and consistent power delivery. The acceleration feels clean and continuous, giving a true EV-like experience. But Mazda didn't stop at speed and power. It also worked on enhancing overall driving comfort. Engineers have carefully tuned the suspension to absorb road bumps more effectively. Combined with advanced noise control and smooth gearless transitions, everything feels natural and fluid. It's as if the car intuitively knows what to do, with no jerks or interruptions. Now we come to where the real shift begins, the global impact. Whenever a company introduces something truly new, it doesn't just affect that one brand. It creates a ripple across the entire industry. Mazda's hybrid rotary system is doing exactly that. Major automakers that heavily invested in EVs are now starting to pause and rethink. Did they choose the right path, or did they overlook something? The first signs of impact are already visible in the electric vehicle market. Companies like Tesla, BYD, Hyundai, Kia, and Volkswagen have been focused on improving batteries, charging speeds, and expanding charging networks. But Mazda has approached the problem differently. Instead of just improving charging, it has tried to reduce the need for it altogether. When a car promises a range of 800 to 1,000 kilometers without the hassle of frequent charging, it naturally makes people question, do we really need to rely on charging stations all the time? In Europe, this shift is becoming noticeable first. While governments are strongly promoting EVs, charging infrastructure is still not fully developed everywhere. In such conditions, many consumers are gradually turning toward hybrid and plug-in hybrid options, and Mazda's system fits perfectly into this space. It offers the smoothness of an EV while retaining the convenience of petrol. Experts believe that if Mazda can scale this technology quickly, it could significantly reshape the hybrid market in Europe. A similar trend is beginning to emerge in the United States. Tesla has long dominated the EV space, but now customers are starting to think more practically. They want cars that simplify their lives, not complicate them. And that's where Mazda stands out. Simple, reliable, and practical. Buyers in the U.S. often prefer vehicles that deliver strong performance without becoming a burden to own. Some industry estimates suggest that if Mazda aggressively expands this technology, its market share could grow from around 2% to 4 to 5% within the next couple of years. In simple terms, Mazda hasn't just created a new engine, it has tried to reshape the entire way people think about cars. Now, it will be interesting to see how other companies respond, because the rules of the game are no longer the same. If we look at Asia, the impact could be even bigger, especially in countries like Japan and India. In Japan, Mazda is already a well-established name. But in a market like India, where charging infrastructure is still developing, this technology could be a real game changer. Think about it. What are the biggest concerns people have before buying an EV in India? Charging time, electricity costs, and reliability for long-distance travel. Now imagine a car that feels completely electric to drive, but charges its own battery using petrol. Naturally, that becomes much easier for people to accept. That's why many are calling it an ideal solution for developing countries. Now, when it comes to major players, this isn't a small development for Tesla and BYD either. Tesla has always positioned itself as the future of mobility, but Mazda's approach shows that innovation isn't limited to just batteries. On the other hand, BYD, which already has a strong presence in both EV and hybrid segments, could also face serious competition from this range extender system. In fact, there are indications that companies like BYD and Hyundai are now exploring similar compact and efficient range extender technologies. This suggests that Mazda has already pushed the entire industry to start thinking differently. The impact isn't limited to automakers, it has also caught the attention of investors. As soon as Mazda revealed this technology, there was noticeable movement in stocks related to Japan's auto industry. Investors see this as a practical and scalable approach that could become very strong over the next 8 to 10 years. Some analysts even believe that the rapid growth of EVs might slow down slightly as hybrids are once again gaining momentum, this time in a much more advanced and refined form. From an environmental perspective, Mazda is also shifting the narrative. Earlier, hybrid cars were often seen as a compromise, neither fully clean nor fully traditional. But with improved efficiency and lower emissions, this new system is far more eco-friendly. That's why many experts in Europe and Japan are calling it a transition technology, a practical path that can gradually reduce pollution without requiring an immediate and complete shift to fully electric systems. The biggest impact, however, is that Mazda has reignited the debate between EVs and hybrids. The question is no longer whether the future will be purely electric. Instead, people are starting to ask whether a smart hybrid system, one that combines the strengths of both, might actually be more practical. Just like the shift from feature phones to smartphones redefined an entire industry, the automotive world may now be approaching another turning point. And this is where Mazda's real success lies. It didn't just compete, it changed the direction of the game itself. Today, many experts are saying that Mazda didn't join the EV race, it started a completely new one. And in the future, when people travel long distances without worrying about charging stops, they may look back and recognize where this shift in thinking began. Now, if we look at the EV market's reaction, it almost feels like a warning signal for companies like Tesla and BYD. Until recently, the EV landscape was quite clear. Tesla was leading, BYD was close behind, and most other companies were following a similar path. The strategy was almost identical across the board: build bigger batteries, improve charging speed, and promote clean energy. But Mazda disrupted that pattern with a simple yet powerful idea. If a car can generate its own electricity, then why depend so much on external charging? This idea itself has created a ripple across the EV industry. When Mazda introduced its rotary-based hybrid range extender system, it didn't just present a new technology, it challenged the entire existing model. If consumers can get a car that drives like an EV but doesn't require frequent charging, it naturally raises a question. What's the real advantage of buying an expensive fully electric vehicle? That question is now slowly spreading across the market, and it's becoming a point of concern for many companies. Experts believe this technology could slow down the pace of EV adoption. The reason is simple. One of the biggest limitations of EVs has always been charging infrastructure, and companies like Tesla and BYD have invested billions to solve that problem. Mazda, however, has approached it differently. Instead of improving charging systems, it has reduced the need for them altogether. Now, the auto industry seems to be splitting into two clear directions. One group is still fully focused on battery-powered electric vehicles, while the other is beginning to explore smart hybrid systems like Mazda's. Some reports suggest that after Mazda's move, companies like BYD and Hyundai have started speeding up their own hybrid projects. At the same time, Tesla is facing growing questions from investors. If hybrid systems turn out to be more practical for everyday use, could that reduce the demand for fully electric cars? This uncertainty is what's currently creating a shift in the market. Looking ahead, Mazda is planning to expand this technology into larger vehicles like the Mazda CX-60 and Mazda CX-90 over the next 2 to 3 years. The goal is clear: to set a new standard in the hybrid segment with engines that are compact, powerful, and highly efficient. The company also has a long-term vision extending to 2030. Mazda aims to make its entire lineup compatible with multiple energy options. This means some vehicles will be pure hybrids, some plug-in hybrids, and others will combine electric systems with range extenders. Instead of relying on a single solution, Mazda wants to keep every possible path open. So Mazda hasn't just introduced a new engine, it has changed the way the game is being played. The conversation is no longer about which electric car charges the fastest. Now, the real question is whether frequent charging will even be necessary in the future. This shift in thinking has brought both excitement and tension to the market. As many industry experts are saying, Mazda hasn't simply joined the electric revolution, it has redefined it. That's all for today. If you found this look into Mazda's innovative technology and the future of automobiles interesting, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you can stay updated with more insights like this.